Nick and I are so excited to announce a new sponsor of the How to Film Weddings podcast.
That is Core Financial. John has used them for a couple of years for doing his books and his taxes and his financial planning. I was talking to him about this time last year and he recommended Core to me, and I have been using them for all of 2019. Guys, girls, people listening, what is probably the most stressful thing that you have to deal with regularly in your business? I'm going to go ahead and say that it's books, taxes, and accounting, all of that. Would you agree, John?
100%. And having the team, Jeremy and the team over at Core, as basically another member of my team, an extension of my team, I've been able to focus on what really matters, and that's running my business and taking care of clients. So we are just so pumped to have an option for you out there. They're nationwide. And so if you're interested, definitely check them out. We're going to have episodes with them on soon, but we just wanted to jump on here before the episode to tell you how excited we are, and stay tuned for more from Core Financial.
And if you would like more information about Core and what they can do for you, head over to howtofilmweddings.com/core, and you can find out all of the information about them doing bookkeeping, about them doing your taxes, about them giving you a financial plan so that you should know if you should spend money in your business or not in the following months. It's a great investment. Yes, it costs some money, but it's going to save you so much money in the long run by hiring a company like this. We are so excited to have Core on board as one of our sponsors.
It's like at a certain point, money is just money, and then you have it, and then it's like that's not what you're aiming for anymore, and it's what's fulfilling you.
Hello and welcome to the How to Film Weddings podcast. My name is Nick Miller, and today I am joined, as always, by my best good buddy, Mr. John Bunn. John, how in the world are you doing today?
Today is a very good day. It is probably the biggest day in the history of How to Film Weddings. We are announcing a lot of really cool things, and so we wanted to do a full podcast on it. But to answer your question, I'm doing really well. I am more excited about today than I've been about in a long time. So we've been working on a few things for quite a bit. You might have heard about some of them in the Facebook group, but we wanted to just kind of do a full episode breakdown on a super big announcement. And I'll throw it back over to you.
Yeah. So if you are a part of our Facebook group or on Instagram and you follow us, or even have access to our YouTube channel, we made a huge announcement of something that we have been working on since last June. We've put a lot of time and energy into it, and that is the Complete Wedding Videography Course. The Complete Wedding Videography Course. We are so excited about this product that is coming out on February 10th, 2020. February 10th, 2020. 2/10/2020. Okay. Anyways. Yeah, sure. So anyways, we are really excited about this course. We dumped a lot of information last Friday or Thursday whenever we announced this, but we thought we would take, a solid 45 minutes to an hour of just John and I talking back and forth about the course, but some stuff that really matters more than the course, and that is, the reason behind why we did it, the purpose of it, and how everything has come about. So that's what we wanted to take today and talk about. So yes, there's the course, but we want to talk about the why behind that for a while so that you understand, where it is that we're coming from.
Yeah, and we want to get into all the details of the course. If you want to go check it out, CompleteWeddingVideography.com is the link. We'll put it in the show notes. It's all over our Facebook group. You may have seen an ad or two about it already, but we want to, like Nick said, kind of rewind back and kind of we've been looking a lot about just kind of the why and the reason behind this, and why we feel like How to Film Weddings has been so successful, and why it has grown like it has, and why so many more people are being attracted to it each and every day and every week, and we're broadening our audience. And when we started, we didn't know if anybody would care to listen to what we have to say. And we constantly are saying that on here, but every day we're setting new records, and every week we're setting new records on people listening to this content and sharing it with other people. And that's great. Like, that makes us feel good, and your messages make us feel good. But when it comes down to it, I have to rewind back to 2005, 2006, right after I got married. I was working at a church, and I think I was getting $1,300 a month full time. I was also a cart pusher at Walmart. I don't know if I've ever said
you
that
were
on here.
rolling in the dough.
I was making $9 an hour as a cart pusher at Walmart, a cashier that always got taken outside to do it. Hey, John, can you go push carts?
Is it because you were, like 23 years old, and it was all these like old people? Yeah, you were 20, and there were all these old people, and they didn't want to go out in the hot or the cold or whatever. And they're like, let this young guy do it. Yeah.
And I had no money in my bank account. I was a newlywed. My wife was a referee at the YMCA. We were both, just like in school, barely making rent. And I remember working at the church and, learning videography and being in that mode of just not having food in our refrigerator and not knowing where our next meal was going to come from, and being late on the electric bill. And just like, I remember that feeling growing up as a kid. Even like, I remember going to I would drive with my dad into town to drop off a check at the electric company after 5 on the day it was due. So it would be one more day before it would get like processed, so that might not overdraft the account. And, my family's come a long way since the 1980s and 90s, and everybody's doing good now. But like, I just remember that feeling of like, how am I going to just make 500 extra bucks? I need $500 like Friday, or I can't pay my rent, and I just remember that feeling of being lost as a husband and not knowing what I was going to do. And one of the pivotal moments in my life had to have come whenever we had a credit card at that point. We don't really use them too much anymore, but we had a credit card, and there was about $20 left until it was maxed out. And I remember being out of gas, pulling into a gas station. I know exactly where the gas station is. I've never been back. Every time I drive by it, I cringe, but I pulled up knowing that I needed more than $20 worth of gas, and I overmaxed my credit card to fill myself up with gas because I knew it needed to last me for a week. And I just was like, I don't know where I'm even gonna get the money to pay for the fee. And just the crap had hit the fan. And within a couple of weeks, a friend of a friend was getting married and asked me if I would be interested in filming their wedding. And I was like, yes, absolutely yes. How much? And they're like, we give you like $500. And I was just like, that's how much money I need. Like, I'll do whatever you want to do. I'll work for a month. I'll do all this. And like, from that first wedding until now, bringing in over $250,000 last year, which is just unreal to me. I've learned so many things, and if I can help one person not be in that position where they feel like they don't know how they're going to support their family, or they're going to take care of their husband or their wife or their kids. Number one, financially, I want people that, have a skill and like this sort of work to be able to do it and thrive, like, and flourish. That's the word that I keep thinking of. And that honestly was the main reason that I wanted to get going with How to Film Weddings, is because I wanted to help people flourish. And so I'll jump into more of my why, but like that, I felt like, I don't know why I went that way, but we don't have a script or anything like that, but hopefully that's, to people out there listening, is encouraging. If you're in a position where maybe you don't feel like you're flourishing right now, that's why we started How to Film Weddings. That's, whenever we really peel it back, that's why I wanted to do it. I wanted people to not have to be in the position where they had to decide between their electric bill and their water bill, or they weren't getting into arguments like with their spouse over money, or like, how are we going to pay for Christmas? Or I just need laundry detergent. And like, those shouldn't be questions that you should have to ask yourself. And so I get almost emotional. Like, it's hard to even talk about it because it was so hard, and it feels like so close, not long ago at all. And I also remember just one instance working at the church. They would have dinners on Wednesday night for people where you could come pay. And as a staff member, you could have free dinner. So we'd always obviously take up a free dinner, but like every week, whatever was left over, they would let the staff, if they wanted it, to take it home. So every week that would probably be our food. And I just remember that hot dogs were always a thing. So I don't really like hot dogs anymore. There was a lot of sloppy joes and there's just a lot of meals that is like really hard. But like, I'm so thankful for those moments because they help build my character. But at the same time, it's like I have scars on my back from that time in life. And if I can help you avoid that or give you some tips that maybe make you $1,000 more a wedding, that might just be the gap that you need to flourish in your life to get going. And, it's not an easy road. And so anyway, that's my heart on that. Nick, go right for it. I'm sorry if I talked too long.
No, that was all. I love hearing your story. I mean, I've heard it, several times before, but I love hearing it and hearing, where you've come from in the place you've come. Whenever my wife, she got into photography. Jen got into photography before I did video, and she started in 2010, I think, is when she kind of started, picking up her camera and learning how to use it and stuff. And I remember she came to me so upset one night because she had she spent, a whole afternoon emailing and calling all of these people in town saying, hey, can I get some help? Hey, can you tell me where you did this? Hey, can you, like trying to learn and trying. And she either got a rude no, or she got no response at all. I mean, it was mostly no response. And our entire lives of our businesses, we have been people that like, hey, let's just be open about this. Like that, I think, was burned into her brain, that no one would help her when she started and no one would talk to her and no one would encourage her. And so, I mean, she found some photography friends, that were kind of new. So, that helped. But like the people that were established, they weren't helping at all. And so as I've done more and gotten more and more into the video, like I've always been more of an educator and trying to help people and have them help me and talk and meet and collaborate and brainstorm and get better and stuff. Of course, some of that could be my, my ministry background and wanting to teach and wanting to help and all of that sort of thing. So for me and my why with How to Film Weddings was, one, my wife's experience of having people that would not help her, refused to help her. That was really in there. And then, this was after, we started How to Film Weddings after I got out of ministry. And so, wanting to teach and wanting to educate was a hole that was in me that I really wanted to fill. But I think back, and this was, a time after John and I had met, and I was out of town, and I looked at my bank account, and between my family bank account and my personal bank account, we had $137. Like I mean, I know you remember this. And I mean, it was so scary and frustrating because, one, I didn't plan well. One, I didn't communicate with my wife well. That was a big turning point. But something that I gained from that was I was able to talk with John, and he's just like, dude, I've been there, one. And two, here's something that you can do. Why don't you give your clients, in the future, a discount if they pay in full today? And I was like, well, I need some money. And I had never thought of that. And so I did that. So I bring up that story. He was talking about his money problems. I've had them too. But that why of community and that why of helping each other out. And there is no way if we wouldn't have established this How to Film Weddings community that I would have learned from that and could have, had someone tell me, oh, I've been there. Don't worry about it. You'll get through. What can I do to help? That kind of stuff. And that is at the core. There are two things really at the core that John and I want to do for How to Film Weddings. One is it is to build a community where, we're helping each other. We're not like super cutthroat and hiding our secrets. That's one. But the other is, we want to excel the wedding filmmaking community because, me in town being able to charge $45,000 or $5,000, that means someone that's newer, they're able to raise their prices a little bit higher and faster because I, have done that. So we want to raise the bar and help each other and do all of that. So that's a big reason why, both of us are doing this.
Yeah. And I think a lot of, whenever I'm thinking about my business, it's like Redeemed Productions is doing well. And a lot of people, I think, question, what's your end game? What's your goal here? And to me, like, I make good money. I have money in my bank account. I have a large amount of money in investments. I'm doing fine, and this doesn't but at a certain point, and if some of you may realize this, especially some of you with like a teaching gift, it's like at a certain point, money is just money, and then you have it, and then it's like that's not what you're aiming for anymore, and it's what's fulfilling you.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that like you can live a life of freedom and fulfillment whenever you're able to be intentional, because you're not just focused on the money that's in your account, or you're able to be intentional because you're not just taking couples just because you need money, and or taking weddings because you think you have to take them, or it's like if you don't like a destination wedding and you don't want to travel, that's a really cool thing to do right now, but maybe you hate it, and so I was good, and on the money side of things, that's not a brag or a flex, but like, okay, I'm good there, I'm paying myself well, this is great, I've done this, I've paid myself a six-figure income since I think 2012 or 13 or somewhere in there. And so at a certain point, that's great, and I'm so thankful and humble and like gratitude for sure, but there was something missing there for me when it came to just fulfillment in career, where it's like I don't
Mm-hmm.
always just want to shoot weddings. Like weddings are great and I love them, and that's why I'm still shooting them. But the messages started coming in whenever I started interacting with people on Facebook, and I didn't realize it because I've just lived in my little world in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I'm doing my thing. But I have this natural gift when it comes to business, and teaching people and showing them ways to just take it easy and take it slow. Lots of principles from Proverbs in the Bible, and from books that I've read, and from or it's just like a slow and steady approach, a crock pot method, a whatever you want to call it. you know People weren't willing to do that in an era where Instagram likes, if you post a selfie and don't get 100 likes in 5 minutes, you delete the post, or that everything's just right there ready for you at all. Like, this art of just being an old school good business person and taking your time, like, people were messaging me about that 10, 15 times a day throughout these groups. How are you charging this? Like, I'm looking at your films, they're beautiful, but mine are just as good, and I'm not charging half of what you're doing. And I'd be like, oh, are you doing this when you're reaching out to the people and to the bride and groom? And the person's like, I'm not reaching out to the bride and groom, I'm just sending a spreadsheet. And I'm just like, these things that were really obvious to me weren't
Mm-hmm.
really obvious to others. And that was just like so like exhilarating whenever I got a message back. I remember the first person that messaged me back and was like, hey, I don't know if you remember me, but I messaged you 3 months ago and I just booked a wedding, and it was like $2,000 more than I've ever booked. And I was like, wow, that is incredible. And it felt like it scratched that itch of the fulfillment for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, I like this, not just because it's self-fulfilling, but like giving back to a community. I'm not here, and Nick isn't here to do your job for you and hand out something free to you necessarily. We give you free information, but nothing's going to change in your business if you're not the one that makes a change. Like, you have to look in the mirror and say, I'm going to do this today. I'm going to spend 15 minutes on Instagram reaching out to people every day for a year. I'm going to, whatever it is that you're going to do. And I think a lot of people just needed to hear from somebody that's been there before. Like, it's going to work out if you put your head down, you do the work, you take care of people, and you just let that investment of time grow and build you dividends over time. So I believe you can have a life of freedom in this industry, and a fulfilled life doing something you love that's artistic and gets you to travel and gets you to go around the world if you want, and meet new people every day and interact and have a good time at the happiest day of people's lives. It's an incredible industry. And if I can help lift, like Nick, you're saying, you're charging more in your industry. I just started, bumped my base price to 6,500, and I'm turning down $4,000 films, and I'm able to refer them to other people in my community that are newer, and they are getting bigger bookings because we're raising this tide together. And so, that for me is more important than a course. It's more important than everything. But to me, being able to help other families flourish is my why.
A big why Jen and I have our video business, Wild Oak Films, is we want to bless our couples. And we tell them in our meetings and our consultations and stuff, if you watch your film and it brings you guys closer together, it makes you look at him and say, oh, I actually do love him, or something like that. And I always use that joke, and they usually laugh. But if our work brings you as a couple closer together, we feel like we have done our job. And as I shift that over to how to film weddings, I definitely have that same mentality and that same idea that if the words that John and I say, if the YouTube tutorials, if whatever it is that we're creating, whatever we're giving out, whatever we're talking, if it helps you succeed in your business where you can, charge $100 more a wedding, to thousands of dollars more a wedding, or, you're able to finally get a little bit of financial freedom by putting some of this stuff into place and get a win and finally, not be so stressed out about money, or, even just a little thing that this planner that you've wanted to refer you finally gets back to you and says, okay, I'll try to work with, whatever it may be. If there's something that we have said that we have done to contribute to that, we're just like, it gets us so excited, and it gets like, that's a huge reason and a huge purpose on why we started this. It goes very, that's just me as a person, how kind of some of my values and what I want to do in other people's lives. And so our why behind all of this is, we want you, the listener, to succeed in your business and accomplish, the goals and the dreams that you have. And if we play a small part in that, then that's amazing. But it's so cool for us to just think, hey, just by something that I said, you're doing this. But back to John, we're not doing anything. We're just talking consistently, but it's like, it's the new year, so it's time to get in shape, right? Well, the only way that you're going to get in shape is that if you decide that you're going to do it. It doesn't matter how much your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your husband, your wife, your grandparents want you to do it. If you don't make that decision, it's not going to happen. So you making that decision, and if we play a part in that, it just gets us really excited.
Yeah, and when you think about like how to film weddings as a whole, and like just where it is right now and how healthy it is, and when we started it, we want to make money helping people. That's okay. Like, we're not like, it's nice whenever someone purchases something from one of our template shop. I want to be able to, I was talking with a friend today, and just about like, I want to be able to spend more of my time helping people do their business well. And so I have to be paid to help do that if I want to like do it for more than just for free a couple hours a week. And so by taking this and building it into something with sponsors and affiliates and people purchasing from our shop and from this course that we're announcing, that gives us the freedom. Like in 2019, we did our full-time job plus a full-time job of how to film weddings, doing editing in the evening, talking and texting every night, working on strategy, to be able to fit in recording this course, which took over like a week to record together, and me coming up to Kansas to do it. And we go like, just when you think about we put in all of this work, like a year or more of work before we ever made a penny doing this, because we believe in it. And that's the thing, like the people that are How to Film Weddings family at this point, you know who you are if you're listening and you're involved in the groups, and like you get it. And so like that, whenever I realize there are just people out there that I haven't met that get me and are like connected to me and to Nick, and appreciate what it is that we're doing. Cliff Lawson, good friend, never met him in person, but we've changed his life. He's changed our life. And this is what I love and what Nick loves. And so in 2020, I'm able to now, because of How to Film Weddings, take only 15 to 18 weddings instead of 25 weddings. I'm able to do this kind of stuff during the week and have more time with my family on the weekends. And as I'm 35 years old and in my 13th year of shooting and have been to 600 weddings, it's like I'm okay with 10 weddings a year. And I would much rather shoot 10 weddings a year and spend the majority of my time, building something for you all to help you. And the comments that we're getting and the way that people, like the way that we're able to save you from making mistakes. And we, getting all these reviews and video reviews in from people just telling us, wow, I'm charging $1,000 more. I mean, that is so big for us. And so I guess the reason I'm saying all that is that, like, we have put in this work, not because it's just a way to make money from you. Yes, it's nice to make money from sponsors and to, like, don't get us wrong, that's great. But like, we want to even, like, this is just the beginning. Like, we have so many plans, if we have way more time during the week, we can make more free YouTube tutorials. We can do more behind the scenes videos. We can do more interviews with people. And so that's the kind of stuff that this course allows us to do. Number one, this podcast allows us to do. And so, that for me, I feel like we've said it over the year and a half or whatever, year and a quarter that we've been doing the podcast, but I just want, and Nick just wanted to, like, get that why out there for you, so you don't have any question about our heart or our integrity when it comes to our plan for How to Film Weddings. Do you remember that wedding from a month ago? Yeah, like that one that you needed to start editing yesterday, but you also need to prep today for your wedding tomorrow, and you're leaving for your first vacation in forever on Monday. So what do? It seems that the only creative part of your edits are the excuses you're going to have to give your clients. We have the solution, Wedditor. Wedditor is a team of top wedding editors, project managers, and account coordinators that help us wedding filmmakers edit. They match the right editors with your style so you can spend your time where it matters most, on your business. Nick and I both use Wedditor, and we don't know how we would run our companies without them. It takes a team to build an amazing business, and you shouldn't try to do it all on your own. Head over to howtofilmweddings.com/Wedditor to help you free up your time so that you can focus on growing your brand. Be sure to use promo code HTFW for $50 off your first project. Wedditor, more than freelance, more than outsourcing.
So with all of that stuff in mind, our whys, why we've been doing this, the thing that's really pushed us, to create our communities and our businesses and all that, we kept that in mind as we went forward, and made this course. We wanted to do something that would encourage you and help your business become better and stuff, because we've been doing this, we've been shooting for 20 plus years whenever you combine me and John, and we have a lot of valuable information, and there's stuff that I have learned along the way that I wish that I would have learned in year 1 and 2. Instead, I learned it in year 5 and 6. And how much better could I be today if I would have had that information back then? So we've been doing this for a minute. I actually got a message the other day. This girl was asking me about some kind of transitions with her edit, and she was like, is doing this dumb or whatever? And I was like, I'm not going to say it's dumb, but I never use them. And she was like, oh, so it's dumb. And I was like, I didn't say that, but like that kind of stuff. But she was coming to me and she said, Nick, whenever I get stuck in a film, you have like 3 films that I always come back to and I always watch to get inspired and that sort of thing. And I remember John, whenever we first met, and we've told this story several times on the podcast, but he was like, Nick, if I could edit and shoot like you do, I mean, I would probably be charging, $10,000, $12,000, $13,000 a wedding. And this was, a couple years ago, and I was like, wait, what? Like my $2,800, $3,000 videos, you could charge for like 4 times that. And you're like, oh yeah, easily. If I would, and so like in that comment, that shows me that, we both have some experience in something that the other one didn't. And so we have learned from each other. And in the last 2 years, John, how he edits and how he goes about those and what he does and what he likes and what he doesn't like has drastically improved. And for me, flip side, I have gone from, 28 to 3,300. Now my base, I just booked a wedding for 5,000 as the base price. And, I've booked, $8,500 wedding in my local market, so, and I know I wouldn't have been able to do that without the expertise and the help that John has offered. So, we have you in mind. We're here to help each other, and John and I have both learned from each other. And so we're just, that's, I don't know the words right now. Like
when you're going to a doctor and you need surgery, you don't really want to trust somebody that has done one surgery before. You don't want, I'm sure it's fine. But if you could pick between this doctor who's done one or this doctor who's done 400,000 surgeries, there's a lot that surgeon can learn from the person that's just been there before and hopefully not made too many mistakes in that profession. But, 2007, I'm rocking a mini DV JVC Averio camera, handheld.
What's that?
Yeah, look it up. JVC Averio. It was a Walmart camera that I got for like $289. I borrowed one from my mom. That's how I got going. And I just showed up. The wedding was about to happen. I didn't know there was like getting ready. I didn't know anything. And I just literally was the lead shooter on the very first wedding. And if somebody came to me and said, hey, I want to lead shoot my very first wedding, I would say, go second shoot for somebody. And it's like there's these very obvious things with the experience that Nick has and that I have. Nick is watching an edit that I'm doing. He's like, don't do that. Include audio. You hear you see the couple's mouths moving. Give me something, or like it's obvious to him because he's just been there and edited more and paid more attention to that. Just like when Nick is talking to me at the beginning and it's like, well, how do you book this? Or how do you add on this? And I'm like, oh, do this. Like this is, and so with this course, we've taken all of our experience, and I've no joke been to over 500 weddings. I've done weddings all over the place with $500 budgets for films to $20,000 budgets, and, multi-million-dollar celebrity weddings to hay bales in the backyard with 10 guests, like all between. And there are certain things, people want to act like there's no formula, and there's not like a secret formula that you do this and you get rich, but it's like a wedding is a wedding, and there are certain elements. And if we can show you the mistakes we've made and walk you through certain things, this course will completely help your business. It will completely change the way that you go into looking at a wedding. We sit down, and when we were recording this course for a full week, I took a week away from home. We went and stayed up at a studio and an Airbnb and recorded. And like, we literally had page after page after page of notes that we worked on for weeks and months, getting ready for this course to prepare for you, of all of the knowledge that we could dump out of our brains, and we didn't hold anything back. And that only can come from experience. And so what I'm so excited about with this course, Nick, is that somebody like Julie with Vita Motions, who's in her first year of wedding business, has said she's already gone up by like $1,000 on her shoots for her weddings. Somebody being able to watch through this, not just once, it doesn't go away when you watch it once. You can go back through and learn more and more. It is a complete handbook for everything that you need to know to get a six-figure income, not just six figures coming into your business, but to pay yourself six figures and beyond. It's the complete blueprint for you to do that. And like, can you imagine, Nick, what is she going to do in a year after watching that course?
Yeah. And this isn't, well, I was going to say, this isn't a, to get a job kind of thing, right? This course isn't something just to get you, like if we teach you how to use Adobe Premiere, like, okay, now maybe you can go get a job as an editor. Like this is literally John taking the 20 plus years of experience that we have in owning our own businesses and running our own businesses and handing that to you so that you can run your business. Like, I guess we put a price tag on it, but it's
having that when you were starting.
No, I can't. Like this is all of our information. This is like me, if I were to sell you my business, Wild Oak Films, with all of my knowledge and all like everything. And if someone comes to me and is like, "What would you sell your business for?" I'm like, I don't know, $500,000. 5 million, 20, whatever, just, yeah. And so we're taking that. And so the investment that you'll make for this course, it's your return on investment is going to be ridiculous. Like it will be ridiculous.
We keep talking about this course. I think it would only make sense to kind of lay out what the course is, go through a little bit more detail on what this course is. And the existence of it, what's going to happen with this, podcast. Is it going to stop? Do we need, we're getting lots of questions. And so just to throw it out there to start with, I don't see myself in the near future ever wanting to stop doing this podcast. It's so much fun for me and keeps me so fresh to be continually talking to new people. When I was a kid, I've said it before, my goal was to be David Letterman. I wanted to interview people. I wanted to be in the know. I love it. And so we love giving as much free content as possible. And we will always offer that for free as long as How to Film Weddings exists. And then, we will always be thinking of paid things that are a little bit extra level, next level, that you can't get anywhere else for a better deal. And so the course itself, the Complete Wedding Videography Course, we wanted it to be straight to the point. And that's exactly what it is. We have the Complete Wedding Videography Course. It is 3 modules: business, shooting, and editing. We walk you through everything that we know about running a wedding video business. And that's the most questions I get about anything personally or about the business. How are you doing this? We walk through from setting up your business, like what you should be thinking about when you're setting up a business, doing it correctly, setting up bank accounts, all the way through to how to sell couples in a way that doesn't feel salesy, how to run a consultation, everything about the business, how to take care of people, how to, network with vendors, it's everything, and so we could never put that into the amount of podcasts that we've done so far. And so that's the first module, business. And
business.
The second one, Nick, go ahead. Why don't you talk about the second one?
Okay, the second module that we put together is a shooting module. And we were really intentional whenever we created this because we didn't want it to lose value in a year. Like if we would have been so like gear focused and gear heavy, it would have become very dated and people were like, well, I'm not going to watch that because, they're using this camera and it's 12 years old and, that sort of thing. So we were very trying to be very practical with the specifically shooting stuff that we got into because we want this resource to be available to you and valuable to you, so you can rewatch it for years to come. And so we don't really get into how to use a camera or what cameras you could use. Instead, we talked about things that we know will always be around, like how should you use light on a wedding day, turning off overhead lights, opening windows, not using mixed light, that kind of thing, how we approach, with our couples, how we prepare our couples, interview tactics, that sort of thing. And then, we did talk about audio in the sense of, what you need to record and maybe how you should do it, but we didn't specifically talk about specific pieces of gear because in 6 months, there's going to be something cooler and better. And every 6 months, there's going to be something cooler and better. But the principles that we're laying out will definitely be around and available and solid in, the years to come. A really cool bonus that we offered with the shooting section was an entire behind the scenes edit of John at a wedding. It's about 2.5 hours of a camera following you around, very live, TV kind of stuff, and just just John talking to the camera, but you also see how he interacts with the bride and the bridesmaids, the grooms and the groomsmen and the photographers and his second shooter, and how he even deals with maybe some situations where a best man doesn't want to do this toast where John has set up the mic stand and set up the lights, and so he just talks to them about why he wants them to be where he wants them to be. So anyway, that wasn't actually something we had planned on including in this course, but as we were kind of talking through what would be really valuable to the people that are purchasing it, we thought that seeing someone do it is very, very valuable. So we have included that. Never been released, never seen before, so you can get that with this course. And then
I'll say on the behind the scenes, I had somebody follow me from before the wedding shoot started. So just like unpacking my gear, explaining what I'm thinking about, all the way through the grand exit. So that was like 9 hours they were there following me. And then whenever we edited it together, if I hit record on the camera and you see me, you also see in the screen what I'm shooting. So the bottom corner of the film of the video is actually what's on my camera, so you can see how that turns out. And then at the very end of the film, the behind the scenes film, I put the final edited film that I made, so you can kind of see how it all comes together. And that's such a great visual way to learn. The course itself too, Nick, it's you and me on camera walking through points, able to talk back and forth kind of like this. It's a lot less, I've seen a lot of courses where it's one person or whatever, and it's just you're listening to the same person again and again, and there's a lot of content. And so it's nice, and palatable to be able to have a conversation about certain things. We talk about what Nick does, about what I do, and give you suggestions to kind of make you flex your own muscle in your brain, basically. Saying, what are you going to do in this situation? And we give you actionable things to say, you need to do this now. There's takeaways from every set or every module saying, these are your action steps. Here's a follow through on if you want to do the work, this is what's going to help you. So it's not just a, here you go, you get to make a lot of money, or everybody would do that. And so that shooting side of things was one of my favorites to record, Nick, because we didn't just talk about gear or anything. I mean, we talked about what you do during a ceremony. We talk about what I do, how we do it. We talk about, on the bride angle, you're going to want a longer lens. You're going to want a gimbal wide angle. And so we just give you suggestions on everything. And so it was a really fun thing to record. And it was so crazy when we were recording it, just how much goes into a wedding day. And why, if you're just getting going, you've been going for a little bit, there's so many little nuggets in there to be like, oh, I didn't ever think of that. That's going to change the way my films look. And speaking of the films, the last module is editing. And that is so cool. We don't, we want to make sure you all know that this is not a how to edit in Premiere or Resolve or whatever, Final Cut. That's not what we're talking about. We are actually walking through what to be thinking about while shooting for the edit. We're talking about what to do, how to be more organized in your edit, how to back up your footage the correct way. We're talking about how to cull your footage, how to go through different, and we walk through the different kinds of edits. Maybe you want to do longer form edits, or maybe you want to do chronological edits. And we just kind of break down certain theories behind every single one of those. And then the kicker, which I'm really excited about for everyone to see, Nick is actually, as a bonus item, recorded himself editing one of his most recent wedding films, from importing the footage all the way through delivering the product on YouTube, delivering it to the client. And so walking through and kind of just explaining what he's doing, why he's doing it, what he's thinking about. Some of the times, if you can just be in the head of the person that's editing, you can catch a way that they do something and be like, oh, I'm going to apply that to me now. And so there are a lot of courses out there on how to edit a wedding film on this, on Premiere, on Final Cut, and things like that. But our vibe was, we want to give you the tools to be able to edit films for yourself in a way that fits you and what your vibe is, and how to pull that emotion out the way you want to film. So that is the third module.
How do you deliver your wedding films? Dropbox? Disk? A subscription service that is way too expensive? We have the answer for you. Wedflow. Wedflow is a cloud-based digital delivery system that we love. I personally have been using Wedflow for months, and I can't get over how great of a service it is. First off, Wedflow is pay per project. That's right, you only pay for the data that you need. Wedflow uses a premium viewing experience accessible on all modern devices and playback up to 4K. With custom branding and theming, wedding filmmakers can deliver an experience that's truly on brand from start to finish. Head to howtofilmweddings.com/Wedflow and upload your first project for as little as $1 per gigabyte. Wedflow, a whole new take on wedding film delivery.
We know the time suck that is searching for the perfect song for your wedding film. MusicBed has spent years collaborating with artists, bands, and composers to make it easier than ever for anyone to find the right song for their video.
With amazing artists like Chapters, Tony Anderson, and The Light, The Heat, MusicBed is the best place for wedding videographers to get licensed music.
Their subscription service was a life changer for me, especially since all of their subscription music is pre-cleared for every social media platform: Facebook, Instagram, Love Stories TV, and my personal favorite, YouTube, all pre-cleared.
And if you are interested in a free month of a MusicBed wedding subscription, head over to howtofilmweddings.com/musicbed. When you sign up, use the promo code HTFW and you will get your first month for free. Yeah, and so the Complete Wedding Videography course, it's 3 modules: business, shooting, and editing. We have over 25 hours of content. We have some bonus material. John also has recorded, some sales consultations and some meetings and stuff that's just going to be an audio file. But, you get to listen to him as he's talking to potential couples. And also he has a 6-month meeting, where he, talks them through the days and kind of upsells and figuring out, what they need, so you can hear how he goes about that. So over 25 hours of content. We are so excited for you to hear about this and learn more about this. Now we're going to get into kind of the nitty gritty about it. The Complete Wedding Videography course is a $2,400 product, but launch day, which is February 10th of 2020, during launch week, initial launch week, it will be $1,800. So automatically save $600 if you purchase it on launch week. And we have 2 options there. You can pay in full, which is $1,800, or you can do 12 payments of $180. That monthly payment would be $240, but during launch week, you only have to commit to $180 a month. Another really cool thing that we have put together is a Posing for Wedding Videographers course. This is a $400 course that will be coming out mid-March, end of March 2020. And with this course, if you buy the Complete Wedding Videography course and you pay in full, you will actually get the Posing for Wedding Videography course for free. It will just be included whenever we release that. That will just get added into your courses on the site that we use, and you will have instant access to it. John and I, we got together, we shot, we did some kind of behind the scenes where you could see how we interact with the couples, how we talk to them whenever we're asking them to pose, what we're telling them to do. We make some suggestions about how to approach your couples. And then we brought a photographer along with us, and she took pictures of all the poses. And so we're going to get you a PDF download so that you can have that for your wedding days and maybe have it on your phone. And whenever it's time to do a couple portraits, you can just, kind of look through those poses and remind yourself what how to do, or what you need to do, or what you should do. Because, maybe you're in that situation and you've never gotten control of the couple at a wedding, and you get control and you're really excited, but then you're like, I don't know what to do. This course will definitely help you out. So if you pay it in full, you will get that for free. And then we also have the option, if you'd like to pay in full, but you don't really have the ability to do that right now, we have worked a deal with PayPal where you can do PayPal credit, where you get 6 months, same as cash. And if you take the principles that we apply in this course in that 6 months, I think that you could get a little extra money to pay for that thing in full. So anyways, we are so excited about the Complete Wedding Videography course. If you'd like more information about it, all you need to do is go to CompleteWeddingVideography.com. That's CompleteWeddingVideography.com. And in there, we also have a freebie. I forgot. Why don't you talk about the freebie that is included do that.
So in our business section, our business module, Nick and I walked through one of our products that's in our shop at howtofilmweddings.com. And we took it from just that product and then expounded and grew it to about 45-minute conversation, knocking out all the details about consultations and how to do consultations right and how to make the most money and take the best care of your clients. And so we walked through a full consultation guideline. And if you go check out the link, that course right now, you just put in your email or whatever so we can send it to you, and we'll send you that part of the course for free just so you can see what the course feels like. It signs you up to just get that auto, dropped into your account or whatever. It's super easy. It's super slick. And it's, it's something we could sell on its own. I mean, we do sell it on its own, the PDF. And so to have a video breakdown of it, I mean, this is probably $100 product just on its own. So be sure to check that out at the link. And yeah, that's definitely something, as we're preparing for the launch in the next month, you're going to be hearing a lot more about it. And then I do want to say, due to the fact that we want to be able to take as good of care as the people that sign up as possible, we are creating a Facebook group as well, where if you join the course, we're going to have a specific Facebook group that's a private group just for our course members, where you can meet other like-minded people that are in the same position as you or growing a business as well and help each other, which is great. But then also Nick and I are able to jump in there and interact. And that to me will be one of the highest priority places that I'm going to be spending a lot of time. We're going to be doing a lot of, just conversations in there. We'll go live in there. We'll do certain things. And extra special bonuses just for the course, the people that purchase the course. So there's so many good things, and I think it was really cool, Nick, just to kind of spend an episode, after the big launch last week, while we're in this phase of getting geared up for the big launch in February, to just talk about, because I think that there are so many people out there trying to do a course or do a thing or and hopefully, over the last, 80 plus episodes of podcasts and seeing us in the group that our heart, and our heart is to serve, not sell. When we're talking about what we're doing, we're practicing what we preach. And so we know that this course is for anyone that wants to kill it in their wedding video business. But we also know that we want to be an open book and say, this is something that we're so proud of. And we hopefully that you see our heart and know that we're not just trying to sell you a thing. This is something that we believe truly will revolutionize everything about your business.
We believe it will revolutionize your business. We wish that this was the product that would have been on the market when both of us started, so many years ago. And we believe in that so much that we are offering a 30-day money-back guarantee. No questions asked. So if you watch it and you're like, this isn't for me, we will give you your full refund for the course, no questions asked. So again, if you would like more information, head over to CompleteWeddingVideography.com. That's CompleteWeddingVideography.com. Man, so exciting. This has been such an exciting time in both of our lives and for How to Film Weddings and all of that. So thank you all who have listened to us for the last year and a half and, joined our Facebook group and communicated with us and reached out to us. We just thank you truly, and you inspire us so much to continue to do what it is that we're doing. So, if you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to our channel. If you're listening to this on a pod catcher, your favorite one, leave us a review. And you know what? I'm just going to end it here and say, and until next time, we will see ya.
Thank you, everybody. We'll see ya.